Hi, I'm Hannah Martin from Bobbi Brown's Global Beauty team, and I'm here today with You and Your Wedding magazine creating some beautiful bridal looks. And today we're focusing on the classic English rose bridal look. So to create this look, we've already started with the gorgeous model Olivia, and we've started with a sheer base of the new Bobbi Brown BB cream. As you can see, it gives a beautiful flawless finish. I've topped it up slightly with a bit of foundation stick. Again, you wouldn't need to do that on an everyday basis, but just for the wedding, I just wanted to add a tiny bit more coverage. So I've taken a bit of the stick through the cheeks. I've also brightened underneath Olivia's eyes with some corrector and concealer, an absolute must-have for your wedding day. Remember, brides, just avoid anything too light reflective for under the eye, because in your flash photography you'll get a lot of flashback and you may have some white rings under the eyes that you don't want. Okay, we're going to start by adding some colour to the face now. Just to show you, I've already applied some bronzer to Olivia's skin, but I want to show you where to apply it. So I've got a big, nice, fat but flat-headed bronzer brush, which makes for really even distribution on the skin. And I focus the bronzer over the top of the cheek, pushing it back out into the temple, a little bit down. If you've got your hair up, ladies, be sure to go over your ears, and then a little down the neck as well. I've also taken some of the bronzer just through the top of the forehead, again, just to warm up where the sun would naturally hit. So now we're going to go into blusher, and I'm going to use Bobbi's favourite colour, which is the pale pink. So I know what some of you are thinking. A lot of my brides take a look at this colour and worry that it's going to be too bright, but it is in fact a gorgeous blue-based pink that gives everyone that English rose flush. So I'm going to get some on my brush. A little tip, ladies, is to always tap off the excess on your brush. There's a lot of pigment sitting on the tip of the brush just here, so pat off the excess so you don't end up with a big blob of pigment. And then for application, always smile at yourself to find the right placement. So if you smile, you can take your brush, just turn towards me, and just rest your brush over the apple of the cheek and blend it out into the hairline. And keep your blusher nice and high, so then your blush is smiling even if you're not. And the reason we keep it high is low blusher can really drag the face down, so keep it as high and lifted as possible. And I'll just blend it out. Lovely, you can see how beautiful and not as scary as it looks. So we're now going to move into a bit of lipstick, and I'm going to show you my favourite classic bridal lip colour. And this is the Bobbi Brown Sandwash Pink lipstick. And I love it because it's pretty much your natural lip colour. So this lipstick isn't going to make any kind of statement, but your lips will look nice and polished. So again, I'm going to use a brush, and I would suggest for precision on your wedding day that you do the same. Any other time you can just go straight from the bullet. And you'll see that it's a really pretty natural lip colour. If you're a fan of strong lip colours, don't avoid them just because it's your wedding day, but remember, if you've got your heart set on some black and white photographs, bear in mind that the darker your lip colour, the more black your lips will look in black and white photography. So just something to think about. Pretty, so that's the Sandwash Pink lipstick. So now we'll move on to eyes, and I'm going to use a long wear cream shadow from Bobbi Brown in a colour called Malted. And I love these because they're a great base for any powder shadow you might do, because once they're on the lid, they dry completely waterproof. So it's not going to smudge or crease throughout the day, and your powder shadow will lock into it. And this colour Malted is pretty much a skin colour. I'll show you now. So it really is that perfect base. So I'm using a cream shadow brush, and be sure to invest in a cream shadow brush if you want to use a cream shadow, because you'll ruin your natural fibre eyeshadow brush in the cream formula. So we're just going to sweep this all over the lid. You can see it's that lovely kind of flesh tone. We're going to take it up into the crease, but not under the brow bone. I'm going to highlight that with a lighter colour. Great, now repeat on the other eye. Great. Before I do the shadow, I'm just going to show you how to highlight the brow bone. Now I'd say for the purposes again of flash photography that it's probably best to keep your highlighter colour under the brow matte, because you don't want to have too much of a metallic sheen under the eyebrow. It can look slightly overdressed, you might say. So I'm going to use the famous Bone eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown. It's a great base powder colour. And I'm going to push that with an eyeshadow brush just under the brow bone. And that will just help your brow look really nice and lifted. Because you want to aim for the brow bone being the lightest point of the face. Great, beautiful. So now I'm going to take a little bit of a mid-tone shadow just over the lower lid on top of the malted that we've already applied. And this is a mid-brown tone called Sable. And again, before you apply your shadow, just tap off the excess so you don't go with too much pigment onto the lid at one time. So I'm just going to press that into the malted cream shadow just onto the lower lid. And this is just going to make it that little bit deeper. So I'm going to define the eyes now, and we're going to do two separate eyeliners. First of all, a long wear gel eyeliner, and I'm going to use the Espresso colour. It's a very dark, dark brown, and then I'm going to smudge some powder over it, again to keep it looking super soft for your photographs. So I'm going to start with the Espresso gel and an ultra fine liner brush. Again, you need a synthetic, sharp-tipped brush to apply the gel. If you try and use a natural hair brush, again, the gel will just clog your brush hairs together and it won't slip onto the lid very easily. So I'm just going to get it onto my brush. I always like to make sure my brush head has plenty of product on it, but also that it's nice and flat. So if you're at home, just take your brush and take it over the lip of the pot to make sure it's nice and flat. And then do lots of little strokes along the lash line to create the line. So you don't have to do one perfect line in one go. As you can see, I'm just building the line by doing lots of little lines and drawing it together. It's the beauty of the gel not being too wet. Okay, so I'm just going to check where I should finish the liner. So if you look at me, great. I'm just going to take my liner brush and just take it into the corner of Olivia's eye. And I like to do that little marker just so I know quite where to extend the liner to. And then you can just draw back in from that line. The key with eyeliner is to make sure you get your brush right into the base of the lashes. If you don't quite get it to the base of the lashes and there's a gap, again, it doesn't look quite as polished or quite as finished. And you can ensure you do that by just pushing your liner brush right into the base of the lashes all the way along. And eyes open. Pretty, so a nicely defined eye. Okay, ladies, just a pointer for eyeliner. Bobbi Brown is a huge believer that actually for the best definition, you should really take your liner from the very inside corner of the eye right to the other corner, so you emphasise your natural almond shape. Beware that if you stop your liner, say halfway across the eye, you may in fact be stopping at the roundest point of the eye, so your eye may look rounder than it should do. So for maximum definition for the wedding, we'd suggest that you take your liner right the way across the eye. And when you're applying your liner, just ensure that your liner is slightly slimmer through the inside corner and slightly thicker through the outside corner. Again, just to help maximise the shape of your eye, make them look really lovely and big. So again, we're just going to use a bit of a powder shadow now, just to take the blunt edge off the liner. And I'm going to do that with some espresso shadow. So it's the same colour as the liner, just a powder formula. And I'm going to use my definer brush to apply it. So get a bit of powder on your brush. Again, get rid of any excess powder. And then we're going to go all the way along the lid. And we're just going to buff some of the espresso over the edge of the liner. So pretty. And just let down again. I'm just going to use my eyeshadow brush again just to blend that. So shut your eyes. Just so it's lovely and soft. And again, the best brush for sweeping away any fallout is the eye blender brush. And you can just sweep away any powder if it drops down. Don't be alarmed if that happens because it's so easy to fix. So what we're going to do next is just take a bit of that liner underneath the lash line. I'm actually not going to load any more product onto my brush. I'm just going to use what's left over so that it's not too hard. And all I suggest you, just look up for me, is just place your brush on the top of your lashes, on the lower lash line, and just push your brush all the way along. And you should get a really soft line. Just be sure that you take it right out to the outside corner so it meets your top liner. And by going from on top of the lashes, you avoid that white rim that you may get if you try and push your brush underneath the lashes. And again, I'm going from one corner right to the other for optimum definition. Great. And then reapply a coat of mascara. Now for weddings, brides, remember, always opt for your waterproof mascara formula. Just look down for me. Even if you don't think you're going to be emotional on the day, which I'm sure most of you will, it will just ensure that your mascara doesn't smudge throughout the course of the day. And look at me. Feel free to take some onto your lower lashes if you wish. Some people will advise against it. Personally, I think it looks beautiful, so I always do. So just take a little bit of your mascara and just blend over the tips of the lower lashes. Perfect. To finish the English Rose look today, I'm going to use a shimmer brick. So Bobbi Brown created the shimmer brick quite a while ago, and it's still one of our best-selling products because it gives the skin a beautiful luminosity. And I'm going to use a lovely colour in pink quartz, and I'm going to use a face blender brush to do this. And it couldn't be easier. You swirl your brush head over the entire palette of colour. Again, take off the excess. And then we're just going to blend it over the top of the cheekbone. So turn towards me. So you just take it over the top of your blush and just over the top of the cheekbone for that beautiful iridescent glow that's going to look so pretty in all your photos. Gorgeous. So there we have the finished English Rose look. Remember, ladies, when you've finished your makeup application, just go back and check your under eye concealers bright, powder through your T-zone just to get rid of any unwanted shine. And if you're trying to recreate the English Rose look yourself, remember that it's all about classic eye makeup, a good bit of definition, and that lovely rosy pop of colour on the cheek. And our beautiful model today, as you can see, is a beautiful olive skin tone, but rest assured this also looks fabulous on the most porcelain of skins. So it's a really versatile look that can work for fair skin right through to medium to dark skin.